Earlier today, I made a mistake. See, my son was eating Cheez-Its. He's 20 months old, and he had a Cheez-It in his hand, just one. Went around the corner, came back chewing on something with the same Cheez-It in his hand. So I naturally get up to inspect, and I see something kind of technicolor green in his mouth. And I freak out. So he's fighting me as kids do. I'm turning him upside down, patting his back, shoving my fingers in his mouth, begging him to spit it out. And, I'm thinking everything it could be because he's got all these different toys and papers and just stuff around the house. We have a lot of crap just laying around. So there's a lot of green that can go into that little mouth. And when he finally spits it out, it's a freaking Fruit Loop. A green Fruit Loop. He's, of course, bawling at this point. I'm nearly crying myself. Not ashamed to say I did have a little weep a little bit later about it because I was just so wound up and I felt so bad that I frightened him. That later on tonight, I was still a ball of nerves, my wife sent me out and just said, go to a store and wander around. She was doing it for my own good because I felt like I had managed to earn the Worst Daddy Award. And nobody wants the Worst Daddy Award. But if there is cash involved, let me know where I should pick up my trophy and the check. That being said, I know I shouldn't feel bad about it because it could have been something. I didn't know it was a Fruit Loop. But that being said, and I know what you're wondering, this is forever spooky season. What does this have to do with spooky stuff? I'm getting there. This is a pointless lead up just so I can tell you about my freaky day. Also, this is going to go in where our podcast normally goes because we still haven't been able to record one because Jeremy's been really busy. So it's a little filler, but hey, what are we going to do, right? All 30 of you that actually listen to the podcast, I'm sorry. So where was I? Oh yeah, so I'm walking around the store and I've got video footage of several of the Halloween cereals that have come up. Not the monsters yet, but the stuff that the other companies are putting up, where Tony the Tiger is now trying to, I guess, be Count Chocula. You're not Tony. Get over it. Stay in your lane. Your cereal's fine, but you are no Count Chocula. Sorry. I'm very passionate about my breakfast cereals. As you can tell, because we apparently have Fruit Loops in the house. Okay. But they put out Charlie Brown. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown cereal. And that got me thinking about that cartoon. And how I've always said Charlie Brown is one of the most mistreated kids in cartoon history and comic history, I guess. I'm starting to wonder if it's Linus. You see, now don't get me wrong, Charlie Brown in that cartoon, he's still mistreated. I mean, this poor kid goes out trick-or-treating, and all the adults, all these families, moms and dads, all got together and said, you know what? The bald kid, he's getting rocks. All these other kids' candies. That little bald kid is getting rocks. Why? Because screw that kid. That's why. Watch that cartoon. They have to be the adults out to get him. There's no other reason a rock would just wind up in his bag instead of candy. The adults are out to get him. So why am I saying that Linus might be the one who's most mistreated? Let's look at what actually happens in the actual tragedy of It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. All right, so Linus runs out to a pumpkin patch along with Sally, and he's waiting for the Great Pumpkin, essentially a Halloween version of Santa Claus. That's a big old jack-o'-lantern that delivers toys and candies to the not just good little boys, truly faithful. That's some doctrination right there. That's really faithful. You gotta have faith in the Great Pumpkin. Only way through toys and candy is through the Great Pumpkin. And this isn't the first year he does it, because he says that he's sure he's going to show up this year. Linus isn't that old. So how many years have his parents, I'm going to get to this too, have his parents let him just spend all night in the pumpkin patch? So he goes out there. Eventually Sally gets mad and leaves. And we later on see Lucy wake up in the middle of the night and realize her brother never came home. So Lucy, not the parents, Lucy goes out in the dead of night to get her brother and tuck him in bed. You know what? I might be wrong again. Lucy might be the most abused, because I'm wondering, or do they even have parents? Now, let's think about this. Now, I know it's a cartoon, and I know, it's a cartoon. You're thinking too deeply. You know what? Shut up. That's the fun of videos and thinking like this. We know it's a cartoon. We know what the actual intent is. Don't ruin fun, man. Just get off the internet. Go get some real air. Go do something. Leave us nerds to our theorizing, all right? Where was I? All right. So let's take a look at what actually happens. First off, somebody would have had to have told Linus, yeah, you need to go out in that pumpkin patch and wait, because this amazing thing's going to happen. And if I had to guess, my personal headcanon is that Linus had a drunken father who pulled him aside, and excuse the bad acting, but pulled him aside one day when Linus like, hey Dad, let's go trick-or-treating. Dad was like, oh crap, that is a thing. So his drunken dad goes, look. You can go trick-or-treating. I mean, yeah, a bag full of candy, but what would you like? A lot of candy. I mean, a lot. I mean, candy and toys, and you gotta be faithful, man, because there's this great pumpkin, right? There's a great pumpkin. He's gotta come up into the pumpkin patch, and if you've got faith, and you've been good, toys and candy. Or we can just go get a bag of it. But make up your mind quick, because that lady I met at the bar, she's gonna be here any minute now. And of course, Linus is gonna be like, yeah, you know I can do it, but are you sure he'll show up for me? Oh yeah, he'll show up for you because you're a good kid. He shows up for good kids and animals, not cheating wives who leave. They don't get nothing. He'll show up for you. You better go now, though. And Linus leaves, and my personal headcanon is that's the last he sees of his dad. From that point on, Linus is being raised by Lucy, who keeps telling him over and over again, your dad will come home, mommy will come home. In the meantime, Lucy is making ends meet by giving people fake psychiatric advice at her little psychiatrist stand, because she cannot afford lemons. All those dimes and nickels are going to feed Linus and herself. That's my headcanon anyway. Is it dark and bleak? Yes. Would I like to see that in the cartoon? Yes, because I messed up in the head. Now, that being said, as I said earlier, of course, it's just a cartoon, but let me ask you this. Lucy's angry. Why? Why does she bully Charlie Brown so much? Why is she so full of rage? Because she's having to play mommy as a little girl. And nobody should have to do that. All right, I'm going to wrap this up here. We're about almost 10 minutes. I'm sure Gary's going to say something other, and that's about it. Thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for listening to me admit what a horrible father I feel like today. And I hope you guys are doing great.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and chuck Lucy a nickel or two. She's had a hard fictional life.